David Lee Scales.
I've got you. It is July 26th, 2024, and it has officially happened in a seemingly innocuous story that prompted it. Came from an unexpected source, but Chaz has officially been canceled.
Canceled. Who would have seen it coming? David Lee Scales, except for you, I, and every listener.
Well, I thought you were immune at this point, considering it hasn't happened in the 5 or 6 years we've been recording this. Figured it was never going to happen.
Well, but who, I guess there's always the sort of sneak attack from the entire nation of Brazil that you cannot take for granted.
It's almost as if they were completely unaware of everything that you were saying up until this story. Because if any story that you've written was going to get you canceled, it would have been 10 others per month for the last 5 years.
I mean, a ton others per month. Like, non-surfing buddy uh asked, like, out of curiosity, I texted him and was like, oh man, I'm done. This is like, it's all, I mean, not all over, but Instagram's canceled. And he said, for what? And I said, the Felipe Toledo thing. And he was very curious and said, is it because, oh, I gotta find it directly here. Hold on, it's funny. Uh he said, da, 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 da. Did I not write it down? Oh, he said, was it your usual implication that Pip is a wimp more than just your usual outright saying that Pip is a wimp? And apparently that was it. It was implications that Pip was a wimp, not outright saying.
Well, the full story here. I don't know if I said it. This is the grit. Welcome to the show. Chas Smith over there, David Scales here. Opposite sides of the world, opposite time zones, times a day. Anyways, Chas Smith wrote a story this week. Felipe Toledo's dad, Ricardo Toledo, took umbrage with the story, took to Instagram in selfie mode. That Instagram is still posted. And he said a bunch of things in Portuguese, wrote a caption in Portuguese. I cannot identify what he said in Portuguese, but I could translate the caption into English. And the caption said, we are on the eve of an Olympics. And being so, we can't leave an unbalanced person like this unhappy to do what he did. I sincerely hope that measures are taken so that no one has to go through it, even if it is a very unhappy way to seek views and or followers. Everything has a price, and this guy will pay the price for saying this nonsense the way that he did! Exclamation point. We're a powerhouse in surfing, and that bothers a lot of people. But as soon as we're united, nothing and no one will do this kind of thing and get away with it. Chas Smith, end quote. And within 24 hours, the masses descended on Chaz's Instagram account, clicked damaging community guidelines or something to that effect, and Chas Smith's account was deleted from Instagram by Meta.
Deleted from Instagram by Meta, theoretically, never to return. But can you imagine the story that brought this all down, David Lee Scales? Do you know what the story was that brought this all to a head?
No, please explain. What did you write that was so offensive?
So, uh, and like, apparently it's rude. Apparently, it is unfortunate to claim that even though the BBC reported it and that it was world news, that sharp-nosed sharks, in fact, how good is that? Sharp-nosed sharks off of Brazil were testing wildly positive for cocaine. And the end of Chas Smith is sharks and cocaine.
It makes a lot of sense, to be
I
honest.
mean, it's the perfect end, to be honest. Let's just be quite frank. But yeah,
you,
so
you've made a living off of sharks and cocaine for
and
some
cocaine.
time now.
And here we go. The end is cocaine sharks. So that was it.
Live
So
by the sword, die by the sword, as they say.
live by the cocaine shark, die by the cocaine shark. And so there it was. So I posted a story, which I thought was fairly amusing. Of the story was in the BBC. It was everywhere, right? It was
Yeah.
like mainstream news. Did you read the story?
No, I only read the headlines and the captions on their Instagram advertisements or marketing.
Yeah, I mean, probably like everyone, right? But this story was like mainstream. I got sent this story so many times. Like, this is peak you. This is everything. Da 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 da. I was like, ah, man, I don't like to lean into the things that are peak me usually. Like, I get it. It's cocaine sharks, Brazil. It's funny, 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 funny. Finally, I thought, all these sharks. I read the story. The sharks were testing uh, at 100 times the level for cocaine of, I guess, other aquatic animals, like loads of cocaine. And I think the working theory was initially this is from drug smugglers dumping like bushels of cocaine in the water, escaping. Nope, it wasn't that. Or that was unlikely. I think that was not ruled out.
You'd need way too much cocaine to, there's so many parts per million. It's the ocean. You would
It,
never be able to add enough cocaine to the ocean for that to be true.
except for, what is the working theory of being true?
What?
Is that it's coming through the sewers. There's so many people using cocaine in Brazil and flushing down the toilet that it's in the ocean now,
That's
right?
insane.
All fair and well, but in a satirical way and not naming any names in the story. I just wondered out loud, I suppose, satirically, oh man, if the sharks have cocaine in their bloodstream just from swimming in these waters, uh, and these surfers who surf there, they might have the same thing going on. And if Chopu is supposed to be small as it is forecast to be, then cocaine might be a performing and enhancing drug. And so maybe we should test the surfers who surf in Brazil to see if they have this light advantage for that was legit the story. No naming names, no nothing. It was pure 100% satire based on cocaine sharks. And this is what did me in.
So there portions of the story are factual. Obviously, the sharks being tested for positive for cocaine. Uh, the part then that you take creative license with is, well, then it makes stands to reason that America or not America surfers would also test
For
for
sure.
positive for
Yes,
cocaine.
not
That's
because they're
not
doing coke, just because they're
that's
in
not
the
a
same water as the sharks.
that's not an illogical leap to make. I can
No,
only imagine that the offense would come that you're going to test only Brazilian surfers for cocaine and not anybody else. Maybe that could be it, a dividing line.
that's true, I suppose. And in retrospect, I maybe should have said, except for let's be honest here, every professional surfer worth their salt skips the Brazil event as if their lives depended on it, right? Like, so I think you have to be brining in that water to get the cocaine. You have to be
You have to live
performing
in
in
it.
that water, bathing in that water, being in that water, which is all fine and good. I have no problem with cocaine water. But again, and this would not have been an issue if the forecast for Chopu would have been for pumping Chopu, because then I think cocaine is would be a actual not a non-performance enhancing drug, right? It would be a
Right.
detriment. Like you'd be too jazzed up. You'd be like clenched jaw. Like pumping chopu is already enough. But with the small chopu forecast we have, then you're all grindy and ready to go. That was legit the story that
So
brought me down.
why did Ricardo Toledo specifically, why him? Why was he the one who took offense?
I mean, who knows? Let's be
Because
honest. I mean,
Felipe's picture was used.
yeah, Felipe's picture was used, but I just honestly Googled like Brazil winning, I think, at that point, and was thinking, okay, can't use a jazzed up picture of Italo winning because he's not actually going to the Olympics. Felipe stole his spot. So was, oh, Felipe's going to the Olympics. Here we go. And boom, hammer dropped a
So
1-to-1, apparently, from Ricardo, who looks at pictures, who reads picture books, who doesn't read words, and saw a picture of Felipe with a this story, and then went to Hammertown.
so how did this develop? Did you see his Instagram post first, or what happened in your world?
No, so in my world, I was sitting on Maui, enjoying, enjoying, enjoying the beauties of Maui, and then I took a picture with a fantastic. Do you remember Jeff Flint from the surf photographer days?
Of course, yeah.
A surf photography legend. We had lunch, Maui adjacent, and posted a picture with him. And then I checked my Instagram before bed and saw, oh, me and Jeff Flynn's picture has 30 comments. Huh. And I clicked on it and just saw Brazilian flags and middle finger emojis. And I was like, hmm. And then checked maybe 30 minutes later, and there was like 100 comments of more Brazilian flags and more poop emojis and middle finger emojis combined. I was like, well, what's going on here? But it was bedtime. And I was like, something happened. This is weird. Went to bed, woke up, Instagram gone. So I couldn't ever actually see what
Hmm.
happened. Like my Instagram had been canceled before I could, like, I got the you defied community guidelines before I actually got to see Ricardo's post, before I got to see any of it.
What happened to the Beach Grit story?
Beach Grit Story got canned because apparently Ricardo called in the big dogs and Olympic lawyers and WSL lawyers and other lawyers called Australia. And again, the story was absolute pure satire. In of all the stories that would get me, one that is satire, like without any hint toward anything other than satire. That no names named, again, no like implications that Brazilians are using drugs. It was that Brazilian sharks are testing positive for cocaine, and therefore people surfing there maybe test positive for cocaine. Like that was legitimately it. But the whole thing, and yeah, so yeah,
And
the
so Derek thought it prudent to just remove the article.
Derek thought it prudent because, of course, we would win anything. This would be protected speech in any country, in any place. Like, but to fight that, right, is money. And so, yeah, great. I mean, unless you're going to counter sue or whatever, as far as I understand, uh, you win your protected speech argument and pay $100,000.
So was the legal requests from the Olympics and the WSL simply to take the article down, or were they threatening anything beyond that?
I don't know. I was not on those calls,
Got it.
so I have no idea what the threats were or what the anything was, but I think, of course, right? Like if you're Derek, uh, obviously it's a stupid story. Like you delete the story and problem goes away.
Yeah, that's my question is does the problem go with the deleted story or are they pursuing any additional things? But
Who
I guess you
knows?
don't know. Yeah, we'll
I
find
have
out.
no idea. I mean, I can't imagine they will because it's so like there's no way they would win any lawyer, unless Ricardo, I suppose, is like on the warpath and wants more than just my Instagram account. Uh, but they'll lose, and I can't imagine like it's idiotic. It is pure, it is idiocy. And it's unfortunate, I suppose, that this is the time in which we live where things like this can happen, right? Where you can not read something, you can assume something, you can sick a mob on something, and then delete something, which is, are you kidding me? Like, which I guess points to the spinelessness of the Toledos.
um, do you understand that I mean your claim of he didn't even read the article. You know, like if he'd actually read the article, maybe then he would understand or even appreciate the satire. But do you understand that the way that the article is pitched to the broad world with a salacious headline and a photograph, that is actually designed even to be more impactful than the reading of the story itself. And so him taking umbrage with the delivery of the article is under is could you sympathize with that?
No, I
Okay.
mean, this is like my 6,000th story on Beach Grit, right? 6,000. Imagine 6,000 stories and headlines and photographs. Obviously, beach crit is beach crit, right? Like beach crit is not a hard, this is not the New York Times. This is not the New York Post even. This is not Reuters. This is beach crit. Like this is beach crit's trade and stock. And so to pretend it's anything other than that, and then to imagine that this is something without reading the story, without even like, I get it. If you read the story and then was pissed about cocaine shark, like how dare you denigrate Brazil's sharks, then I would be like, oh, okay, cool. Like we've got a thing here. But no, like absolute utter illiteracy. Not that he's illiterate, but not reading something. No, it's he's 100% in the wrong.
Um, this is the second time you've lost your Instagram account. First time, I feel like you had 150,000 followers.
Yep.
What was why'd they cancel it that first time?
I think the first time was, I feel it was still WSL related, though I don't know. But I think it was just that I had a bunch of other unlicensed videos on there, right? Like I think Instagram is a cesspool of viral videos going viral and then companies going and licensing those videos behind the scenes and then busting people who repost those, expecting some kind of payment if you value your account, I guess. And so the first time I think that's exactly what I got busted for is
Reposting,
reposting viral videos.
which is crazy because now there's really they've embraced the reposting. You know what I mean? Like the I think there was a moment there probably when you got canceled where there were trying to um people were trying to maintain rights on certain things, but I feel like now it's gone completely the opposite way and the virality is valuable to the platform and so they almost
Mhm.
encourage the reposting.
I think you feel that way when you're a certain size. When you get a bigger size, then people come after you, right? And then they ding
Yeah.
you for like if you don't have rights to that video. Like there's whole businesses, organizations that go and throw a couple $100 at somebody for, hey, they'll see the video go viral, throw couple $100 at them, get the license to that thing, and then go ding everyone who reposts that,
Yeah.
and trying to recoup, assuming I think that people will pay to keep their Instagram account. So I think that that is still very much a business.
So in that instance, there was a clear violation of Instagram's policies and or terms and guidelines. So you couldn't get the account back. But this account, I feel, you didn't violate any of Instagram's policies. I mean, I suppose if they receive that many requests to take down your account, they probably take it down without really checking to see if you violated anything just to protect the community. And if they take the time to actually comb through whatever people were complaining about, the offense is only on Beach Grit's website, if that even is an offense. The offense wasn't actually on their platform.
No,
Is that
I didn't even post this Instagram, which is like A, B, who has read the community guidelines on Instagram, right? Like the idea that Instagram is meta, I guess, is the arbiter of whatever. Like who knows? Maybe they say, maybe I have offended their community guidelines by doing something that was offensive off their platform, right? Like I don't know
true?
what's in their fine print. Like this is again to think that Meta or any of the Meta properties is actual free speech is insane. It's unfortunate that I suppose we've given them that right, to be the platform of free speech. This is not free speech. I know I'm in their world and they can kick me off anytime they want for whatever reason. And if I'm a hassle, if they get, you know, I don't know how many followers do you think, I couldn't see how many comments were on Ricardo's Get This Boy?
Great question. I could look right now. I was surprised to see that he has 39,000 followers. So that was significant. How many followers did you have, by the way, before you got deleted?
Oh, I don't know, like 20
30.
something.
Okay.
Not very
So
many.
he has 500 comments. It's 496 comments. And about 4,500, 4,600 likes on the post.
Yeah. Is that
So it's a
good for
lot.
him?
Mm, his previous post only had 300 likes and 42 comments. The other one had 60 likes and 6 comments. Um, so yeah, that is a lot for him.
Right. So I'd helped Ricardo out.
You definitely did. Yeah, it's like that. Your post has 10x what all of these other ones have.
Sweet. Well, I mean, and here's the like his whole thing. Like, I've had a wonderful friend send me his translation of what he said
Mhm.
because I'm like, how, what? And he sent me the translation, right? And then he goes on and on and on about rallying the Brazilian, like our brave Brazilian warriors. Like, how dare this man denigrate our brave Chaz Smith, this fake surf journalists denigrate our brave Brazilian warriors. I'm like, oh, is your son a brave Brazilian warrior? Let's be honest. But also on that front, didn't you move to San Clemente like a long time ago? And also on that front, are you on your son's payroll? But it's all good and fine. But yeah, like it's I get it, right? Like I get that Brazil is, to use the WSL's term, passionate. Brazil fans are passionate. But to sick a bunch of people on someone who none of them read anything, right? Like he could just sick, Ricardo can say this guy is anti-Brazil, anti-Brazilian surfers, and like just you can just sick them on somebody. And then they, whatever. My Instagram, I don't care about. Like it is immaterial. Uh, I don't even, I mean, again, you and I have talked about it a bunch here, right? About the reason I keep my Instagram more or less is to keep in contact with people in this community. Because otherwise, what? I mean, feel free, all email me, chaz@beachgrit.com. But now like you get the DMs, which are fun now. So yeah, that's what I guess, Ricardo successfully took away is my DMs.
Um, are you able to relish and enjoy the fact that you're not anchored to Instagram? And maybe it'll come back, but at least for this interim, that you don't have to maintenance Instagram.
I mean, sort of like, yeah,
Y-
except for it is a way to connect with people, right? But
Yeah.
it's also like it's the balance sort of I like to connect with people who wouldn't otherwise. People don't email anymore, right? People don't like this is the way people connect. And so to get that ripped away for something that's so absurd is like, what are you doing? And again, to Ricardo, Lil Ricky, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm all down with a fight, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm here begging regularly for connect. Let's, throw stones, throw darts back and forth. But and I feel this happens when it happens, it's the stinking Ashton Goggins calling the cops, or it's Ricky sending his followers to Instagram to get something erased. Like, that's not fun. Like, erasing your competition, if you have beef, I would love to spar with Rick on the merits of what we or what he feels is, you know, my problem with him, which I didn't have a problem with him before, but I guess I've gone on and on and on. Let's be honest about Philippe not paddling Chopu, right?
Yeah.
About his son being a coward. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's talk about that. So you're going to, instead of actually dealing with it, you're going to call him a brave Brazilian warrior and then just try to erase me? Like, how is that fun for anyone?
Well, it was effective, first of all,
But
but
it's
he's
not
not trying to have
effective
fun.
because
He's trying to,
that's not where this post was made and not where I speak.
he saw an opportunity and he took it. Maybe, he knew that he couldn't defend against the merits of Felipe's cowardice. And so he saw an opportunity here, utilized it, and it was a very effective tactic to get his end goal.
I mean, great. If that was his end goal, to get me kicked off Instagram, then Ricardo Toledo, good on you. You went and you did it.
Well, when you say you're down to spar, that's the part that I'm surprised I haven't seen yet. I was expecting a sequence of 10 articles in the last 48 hours about and maybe about this cancellation on Instagram, but also about Felipe, not going at Chopu leading up to
Yeah,
all
but
that.
the boy doesn't read. Like that's what this whole thing made me realize is that people no longer read, right? And so writing as a medium, I've always loved writing and will continue to love writing. Writing is absolutely precious to me. And not that anyone could be able to tell via Beach Grip, but I love to write. I absolutely love to write. But realizing people don't read. So let's talk about it. This seems more apt for our time. Like, let's adjust. Okay, great. If you're not going to read, let's talk. And Ricardo, I dare you to listen.
Um, have you seen any imagery of Felipe at Chopu in preparation for the Olympics?
No, have you?
Yeah, somebody sent me an Instagram post with a sequence of photos, no video, and their caption or their message to me was just something to the effect of "This ain't it," and it was Felipe going on small waves, basically.
Obviously, but isn't the forecast? I mean, it's going to run, I hear on great in from great sources that it's going to run Saturday, right?
It looks like Saturday is going to be, yeah, a green
I
light
mean, I
for a
think it's
starting day.
fully green lit on Saturday. I think it's on Saturday. It's time it's basically baby chopes, right? And did you read
It's
the
it's
New
6
York
feet.
Mag story today?
No, I didn't.
Great story, which even
People don't read. You already know this. Of course, I
I
didn't
mean,
read it.
yeah, you should read. It is a phenomenal story about. It's like the best mainstream surf story I think I've ever read. Adam Elder, New York Magazine, phenomenal story. But like paints a proper picture to the non-surf reader who actually reads about what this is, right? Like about it being at Chopu and da 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 da. But even there, like it's for surf fans, he writes, is Philippe going to paddle?
Oh, really?
Great is the great question. Yeah, it's a great story. But uh, I mean, this whole yeah, Felipe got lucky with a tiny swell.
Well, even the imagery that I saw of him didn't. I mean, he was like he was pulling into tubes and stuff, but it wasn't. I saw a wave of John a couple of days ago that was just insane. Like he took off so late, got so deep, it was crazy. Um, that was the opposite of the Felipe imagery that I've seen. So even if it's small, I don't anticipate him meddling at all.
I mean, who knows though? It's like I think it will be he has a chance in baby chopes. And again, I mean that's the whole thing is Ricky all of them. The greatest story ever. I mean, the greatest sports story ever would have been if it was pumping and Felipe won, right? Like if I'm all in on Felipe overcoming fear, overcoming like, this personal elephant on the back and winning that thing would be one of the greatest sports stories of all time, I think. Unfortunate the waves won't really show up, but yeah, I'm all pro Philippe winning the thing in big waves, but also like my pick was for Joao before. So
Yeah.
like I don't know how again, of course, to assume that anybody reads or anybody's in the weeds on all this stuff is one thing. But for Ricardo to completely not for anyone, Ricardo included, to not understand satire as a valuable form of communication is dangerous. That's what I will say. And I think that Ricky is leaning into dumb, idiotic, dangerous land.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's kind of the greater conversation here is um, the conversation about freedom of speech or us choosing to uh use these platforms and elevate these platforms and make them the sole form of existing so much so that they you know you still have freedom of speech, but that platform doesn't have to have you on it. So they have their own right to boot you off if they want. It's our fault for creating such value or, giving them so much of our attention that they then are able to manipulate what would essentially be freedom of speech.
I mean,
So I
yeah,
think
we
that's the
handed,
bigger problem here.
I mean, that's exactly it. We handed Mark Zuckerberg, technocrats, I suppose, at that level. Like, okay, here, you give us something easy and fun, and you will now control our entire speech. I was thinking today, without it, like, okay, what would I do? And I was honestly thinking I would print flyers and go put them down at, hey, you want to read what I have to say? I would go put them down at Cardiff Seaside Market or whatever, right? And then you like what? So they 8 people read. Uh,
Yeah.
these guys created something that was awesome in terms of mass reach, but then they're idiots about how to, because it's hard, and I guess calling them idiots is rude, but well, what do you do? How do you keep pedophiles and hate speech and all this stuff off your thing? And so, whatever, I got stuck in they don't know. I'm sure a bunch of bots reviewed they got however many Brazilians Ricardo sicked on me. They got that many, like, this guy's damaging. And of course they delete it.
Yeah. Yep. Of course they did. And Ricardo, I think, whether he reads or not, it was just a super simple and easy solution for him to kind of maybe not entirely silence you, but at least de-amplify your, your freedom of speech. And so it was effective and simple for him. And
Except
so,
except Instagram is not it's not my platform. So he
yeah,
took something away that's not my platform, which and can celebrate it, right? And but what an idiot. Like Ricardo Toledo is a straight up idiot in terms of not only missing the point, but thinking like proudly going after, okay, I don't like what my competitor, what my antagonist, what this person says. So I'm not going to fight him on merit. What I'm going to do is erase him, which
yeah,
is that's dangerous, I think, for cultures worldwide of
yeah,
your instinct being instead of actually saying, no, this, or this, uh, nope, I'm going to take away your ability to say anything is, yeah, uh, Ricky Toledo would love to meet you someday and have lunch and or whatever. But man, you're an idiot.
well, in further Olympic news, quote, Olympic surfers tout their love boat after athletes arriving in Paris claim beds in village, quote, anti-sex, end quote. Go deeper. What's going on?
Man, I think it's the same beds, and I've heard even reports directly from Paris that the beds can be not comfortable in the athlete village. The athlete village in Paris is in a suburb, not in one of the arrondissements. Have you been to the Parisian suburbs?
Yeah, I've been through them.
Yeah, they're not very great, but that's where the athlete village is, which I'm sure that's where they had room to build it. And I think the athlete village is totally beautiful, but there's complaints about the beds.
And the other story here that we haven't fully covered previously was just that the Olympic surfer Olympic athletes are actually staying on a cruise ship, essentially, right?
I mean, I think it's a repurposed cargo ship that
Oh, is
is,
it? Okay.
yeah, I mean, I think it was repurposed a while ago and has been a cruise ship, but it was a repurposed cargo ship. But yeah, they get to stay on a cruise ship while the athletes in Paris are staying in a Parisian suburb.
Um, who is there somebody actually making a claim that the beds are designed that way to prevent sex?
No, I think this claim came originally from Japan, where I think the beds were made from cardboard, and they might be the same sort of thing here. Like it's probably wonderfully economic, right? Or I'm
Yeah.
sorry, environmental. Like that it's these beds can break, we're not polluting the entire world by building an athlete village. Like these beds will be recycled and whatever and whatever. I think it's a version of that. So I think they're basically cardboard beds.
Um, in fast food restaurants, that's like the thing. That's why there's like hard plastic seats, is because they don't want you to stay. They actually try to make it uncomfortable so that you limit your time there. But I thought that that would be a funny, it'd be funny if true, if the Olympics are making the beds, quote, anti-sex. Um, because I've heard of like boxers, don't have sex before a big fight so that they maintain all of that virulent testosterone energy going into the fight. So it'd be a hilarious tactic if coaches were implementing the same thing.
I remember the stories back in the day of like all the condoms, remember, that are at the athlete villages.
I
Do you
don't
remember
know
those
those
stories?
stories.
Oh yeah, I think that's a regular story through the Olympics is like the amount of condoms that are like thrown into the Olympic villages. And as a younger man, I was thinking, if you're at the Olympics, isn't your like thing like you're a top level athlete trying to win, right? Like, wouldn't
Yeah.
that be the hooking up being the last thing on your mind? But now at this stage, and realizing also how many people are at the Olympics who have no hope of winning, who are just there, they got there, and that is they did it, right? They arrived, and now it makes more sense.
Yep. Yeah, that's interesting. Uh, Secondary story on Beach Grit was, quote, Surfline bends to will of International Olympic Committee and censors Chopu cameras ahead of the games. So this has
That,
been interesting in these days
thanks,
leading up to it.
Ricardo. This is Ricardo Toledo part two right here. Ricardo Toledo called someone and got Surfline kicked off as well.
So this has been a bummer in that the athletes are training out at Chopu leading up to the event, and they actually have allocated times for these athletes to train, and we cannot watch any of this.
Which what I don't understand is I fully get turning the camera off when the competition is on, right?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like they
So that
know
NBC can maintain their rights.
precisely, or whoever, right? NBC in America or whoever the broadcast partners are. Like when the contest is on, you turn the camera off. I don't know who had the power to say, no, we have this window, full stop. It doesn't matter if it's being broadcast or not. It doesn't matter if the competition is on or not. You have to turn your camera off, which that's weird to me, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially if the,
Well, I just feel like the training and all of that only amplifies the eventual event.
for sure. But,
Yeah.
and you also assume the camera's on private property. The wave, I'm no Tahitian, but I'm sure the wave is public-ish, right? And so you have a camera on private property pointing to a public wave that just gets turned off for the entire thing. And again, I totally get it getting turned off for when competition is underway. But the rest of it, how are you turning the camera off? Like the thing on Surfline just says like camera will be turned off, sorry, from the 7th to the whatever, like the entire window.
Yeah, it totally seems odd. There are photographers sitting like way out. I don't know, they must be blocking a certain distance from the wave because the like Dominic Mosquiera has posted photos from like a long lens. So he's way off in the channel, but not close in the channel like we normally see footage shot from, way off in the channel, hundreds of yards away, and then getting close up using a close up lens or a, whatever, uh, telescopic telephoto lens to get kind of grainy close ups of it. But seems odd.
I mean, like, and again, back to not to bring everything back around to Ricardo Toledo, but I think that's why this whole thing was such a mess for Beach Grit, etc. Was Olympics get involved and things get weird. Like the Olympics is such a thing, and I'm not going to use any other words than thing, uh, where all other things alter because of it, right? Like where rights and bloody, like it's a massive funded organization that can just shut things down.
And everybody wants to have glean some of the spotlight from them. So everybody kind of adjusts their own standard practices for it.
I think A and B, there's such legal ramifications.
Yeah.
Again, re Beach Crit. that nobody, you poke that bear and then you better be well lawyered up.
So, are you going to be watching A, and then B, give me your picks for the surf winners, medalists?
So I picked already. I had for the men, I already had Joao Chianca as even though the Brazilian Warriors have canceled me. I had Joao as my pick. I feel Joao is totally primed to win this thing, right?
Heck no.
Tanned, tanned, rested, ready. I feel again, I made this pick when I didn't know what the forecast was. With the kind of lousy forecast, but I'll still go with Joao. I feel Joao is going to be dark horse to win.
Yeah, dark horse for sure, but definitely not for a win. Um,
Why?
I'm
How
going
not?
because there's way more qualified surfers ahead of him. Like I'm going, my pick for the win is Kayuli Vost as a gold medalist. I'm going John with the silver and Gabriel Medina with the bronze.
It's a good call because I mean the Olympics does love a national winner. Typically, like if you can get one, like a French winner, you know,
Yeah.
Kaoli Voss, even though he's Tahitian, right?
Yeah, but he's flying the French flag.
Of course. Uh, they love that story, but I don't know. I got a feeling with Joao here.
Yeah, stick with it then. I would love to bet against you. I'm going Kylie Vost. I want to go John Gold just to be patriotic, and this is the time to be patriotic. However, if I was putting money on it, I'm going to go Kylie with the gold, John with the silver, Gabriel with the bronze, although Gabe is very qualified to take gold as well. And then on the women's side, also a French winner, Vahini Fierro with the gold, Caroline Marks with the silver, and Tatiana Weston Webb with the bronze.
Guess where? I'm going Vahine gold. I'm going sneaky Carissa Moore with silver, backing up her previous Olympic gold with a silver. I feel that she's got the mojo in her to go pull a silver out.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past Carissa, obviously, but I'm going to stick with my picks.
Uh, are you going to be watching?
Um, Somewhat. I mean, I will watch as much as I can. Tomorrow, I have other plans that will take precedent over the Olympics. So I'll be watching intermittently and I'll definitely watch the highlights.
Ain't it funny though that this is what theoretically this was all built up for this, right? Like this should be the greatest moment in surf. And it's like, oh, I mean, I feel the exact same way. I have no idea what time it's on in Maui, but I will like if I can watch it, I
Yeah.
will some of it, but I have not set my clock for it. I don't care about it. I will read it later and be vaguely interested in the outcome.
If it was pumping, would you rearrange your day for it?
100%. Like,
Yeah.
and again, that's what I said in the New York Magazine article that surfers will be watching not because it's the Olympics, but it's because it's Chopu. And any surfer watches pumping Chopu, right? The
Yeah.
fact that the forecast is fairly lousy completely diminishes my interest in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately. Well, hey, remember last week we gave away traction pad and or leash?
Who got it?
Well, I should have that information, shouldn't I? I don't have it right in front of me. Devin Howard picked, I want to say Daniel is his name. And also, Devin actually picked two because there was two
Ooh,
comments that he actually liked. And so he picked two. Let me see. But he set up an even better Daniel. Yeah, he said Daniel with a yellow hex cord. He didn't give me Daniel's name. So I forget Daniel's name. Sorry, Daniel. But Daniel
how
won.
many,
And
how many, how many, how many Daniel listeners do you think we have that are like, is it me? I
well,
believe probably only have one who actually commented.
the Daniel who won already knows that he won. So any other Daniels listening, you did not win. Um, Daniel Campbell won.
Okay, Daniel Campbell, congratulations.
So congratulations, Daniel Campbell. We already got that thing shipped out, or Devin did rather. And but the good news is Devin hit me back and he goes, dude, let's do it again, but let's go bigger this time. So
What?
in this week, instead of traction or leashes, we are giving away a Channel
No.
Islands everyday board bag.
I felt that bag. Have you felt that bag?
I own that bag. I'm showing you that bag in my room. I have that bag. Yes, I felt it.
That stinking bag made me rethink surf bags for the kind of everyday living, not just for like airport flying bags.
Exactly. Yeah, no, this is so their everyday bag obviously means they have travel bags that you would take on the airport to the airport that have wheels on them and a couple of additional things. But the everyday bag is now built almost like a travel bag. They have different sizes and outlines. So shortboard, hybrid, longboard. It's 8 millimeters, and the traditional bag is 4. Like traditionally, all other brands they use 4 millimeters of padding. This is 8 millimeters. So it's that much more bulletproof. It's also weatherproof. The materials that they use are heat and sun reflective. Um, so it just feels durable. It feels as sturdy as any travel bag I've ever had, only it's made for every day.
I mean, which again, how many times have you used this? Have we talked about barrel or not surfboard socks?
I don't think we have, no.
uh, where to me it's a huge nah, right? Where you struggle to get your board into this thing, you struggle to get it out of the thing, it strips the wax off your board. You have basically at the end of its career a waxy piece of fabric, and what are you going to do with that? Like an absolute mess. And I don't know why anyone uses, dear listener, chime in, but I don't know why people use a surfboard sock. I saw that Channel Islands everyday bag and I thought, oh yeah, this is what the sock should have been all along. It's
Yeah.
something to put your board in, like just for the daily wear and tear kind of getting to the beach, getting home, throwing groceries in the car in the meantime, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, traditional or previous everyday bags have like the zipper rubs up against the rails of the board. This has like a padded flap that covers up the zipper so it keeps the rails protected as well. Quick access stash pocket on the exterior, um, fin pocket on the interior. It's epic. It's the best bag on the market. The way that you can win it is to leave a comment on today's show. It's going to take about 24 hours to get the YouTube version of this show up. But once that is up, go to YouTube and find this episode and then leave a comment. And the comment that you have to leave this week is tell us a story.
Ricardo Toledo is
Perfect. That's the prompt. Ricardo Toledo is, and then go ahead and leave your. Uh, the comment that you have to leave is give us a story of a board that got damaged that would not have gotten damaged if you had the Channel Islands everyday bag. So everybody's got a board damage story. Leave yours there. In about 72 hours, Devin Howard is going to read through those and pick his favorite story. You will win a Channel Islands everyday board bag.
love it.
I know. Too easy, man. And by the way, go to cisurfboards.com if you want to get your own bag or if you don't win this contest. And to be perfectly honest, this is not a paid advertisement. We love these bags and we use them. And so we want to hook up the listeners.
Very true.
Very true. Okay, Chaz Smith, do you have any other? Oh, by the way, we've got a call that I wanted you to address. Sit with me while I find it. I have heard of this happening from multiple listeners. I have not witnessed it, but it apparently has become quite the scourge at popular beaches. So listen up.
Hey guys, how's it going? Great show, love it, blah blah blah. Lifelong surfer, you guys rule. I'm from Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, and the main break I surf is the Jax Beach Pier, and we've got a little problem there with surf camps. How do you guys feel about surf camps that paddle out at the main peak? It's ridiculous. I'm surprised no one's been seriously injured. And as I sit here, my ankle is swollen and I have a fin cut. I've been in like 5 accidents in the last 3 surf sessions. I just feel like someone's going to get hurt, really hurt. And the surf instructors just, they don't care. Hopefully this is a legit topic. But anyways, great show. Talk to you guys.
Okay. What's your
It's
take?
a tough one, right?
Why? Why?
Because if you're surfing at a place that surf schools are paddling out, and I get it, right? Like, not all of us are lucky to live on the beach at Pipeline or J Bay, right? Like, I'm sure where he's talking about is a fairly whatever, let's be honest, whatever beach break thing, right?
Jacksonville Beach Pier.
Yeah, Jacksonville Beach Pier, right? Which is no, but again, yes, I totally get, and I feel this same rage myself. And then I check myself thinking where I'm surfing is crappy. And that's why surf schools are there because I'm surfing a crappy place. But there's no other places around. I mean, I'd have to really venture out. And then if I'm venturing out, then I'm putting myself into somebody else's break. Those people don't want me there. Like I'm here. But yes, like it is a scourge and a curse. And I don't know what the answer is, other than maybe hurting surf school kids.
Yeah, I've got an answer for you. And I agree with you. This is complicated by the fact that it's Florida and it's flat essentially. So it's easy to say go down the beach and surf a different peak, but honestly,
There's not.
there's probably no peaks. Like there's
No.
only a pier wave. But safety concerns aside, the very first thing that a surf school should be teaching is etiquette. And it's poor etiquette to be a beginning surfer and paddle out to the best spot into the line into the outside portion of the lineup and be competing with waves with the locals. And
Legit
so
surfers.
so I think that that is definitely a faux pas from the surf school themselves and the instructors. Like the instructors need to be communicating that type of etiquette of what's expected of you once you enter the lineup. And so that is a huge mistake on their behalf. And I don't know what the recourse is for surfers in that lineup. Like, I don't, obviously, you're not going to tell the students to beat it, but I think you probably should have a conversation with the instructors or the school itself and just be like, dude, what are you guys doing? Like, you guys surf, right? You know, this is so not cool. And you need to be teaching your students. They're beginning, they need to go down the beach.
I'll tell you what to do. Get their Instagram accounts canceled. You get the surf school Instagram canceled. You get the instructors canceled. You just start Instagram account canceling down the line. Problem solved.
See, so that crossed my mind too. Like, would you leave a public review on their Yelp page
No, no, you got to
shaming them for
cancel.
this thing? Or take to Instagram and shame them there.
You can't just shame though. We don't do as good, I suppose, as the rabid Brazilian surf fan in terms of being a vocal block. Imagine if you had a vocal block to call in. If you could say, okay, we're going to call in now 30,000 people who have no like understanding of any issue, but we're just going to point them here and then they're going to cancel this surf school. And then but then it doesn't matter. But in the like this was like at the end, I think the instructors maybe they surf casually, but probably don't surf there. They're probably like nobody, and the owner of the school probably isn't even really from there either. And so there's no like you actually have to care in order for there to be recourse to this,
Yeah.
or recourse for it. But there's nothing, right? Like you could tell that college kid who's studying at, Jacksonville Community College, who's getting summer money for surf school. Hey man, this break means something to me. Like, yeah, so it's
Yeah.
sweet. Like, whatever. Like this whole thing, and nobody cares. That's the problem.
Somebody's going to get hurt and then suddenly people will care.
They won't. They will continue to not care. And that break will then just get overrun with surf schools. Like if you could actually communicate to the owners of the surf school, except they don't care either. Nobody cares.
I agree with you. I wouldn't care. Like, again, I haven't been in that situation, I suppose, but I would just personally, I would go surf somewhere else.
But you can't. I mean, that's the problem. And again, I feel this. This happens. I mean, not with surf schools per se, but like basically, where I think, okay, this is on me because I'm surfing in a crappy spot, but I live in a place where I could theoretically drive and dodge stuff. But
Yeah,
in Florida, you can't. Jacksonville, you can't do that. Like
I know.
your one wave is getting screwed, which
I
is
know.
fairly frustrating. So
I
I
know.
totally sympathize and feel. And what was the college's name?
I forget.
Caller from Jacksonville. Let's make an Instagram mob.
Sick 'em. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad that you solved that one. All right, let's go to commercial break and we will be back with some feedback from last week and some barrel or not. Rocketmoney.com/surf. Just this week, my wife figured out she was paying a subscription for Showtime, but then also paying for Paramount Plus, which includes Showtime for free. That's precisely what Rocket Money was designed for. A modern tool that meticulously tracks the details that we easily get distracted from. It's a finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your monthly spending, and helps you lower your bills. It gives you freedom by helping you see your subscriptions in a simple dashboard and alerts you about hidden fees or increases. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year with over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things that you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/surf. Calm the clutter in your head, simplify the tedium of your financial life, and find freedom through rocketmoney.com/surf. All right, Chaz, we are back. You want to hear the most, I don't know, unlikely comment on last week's YouTube video,
I sure do.
YouTube episode? A lovely lady commented and said, quote, "I love listening to your podcast at night while I knit and the kids are sleeping. My only pro in the wild story is meeting Felipe Toledo, and he was really kind. Sorry."
I God bless Felipe Toledo, and I'm sure he's the sweetest boy ever. But I love that she's listening while knitting and the
After the
kids are
kids go to
asleep.
sleep.
Are we soothing?
I have no idea. Never in a million years. If you would have given me 100 scenarios of people listening to this show, I never would have envisioned a woman knitting late at night after the kids went to sleep.
I can picture that when I listen to your voice, to be honest.
Can you?
You've got a soothing voice. You've got like a nice not you've got like the 8 p.m. to midnight jazz radio voice.
The grit after hours.
Yeah, exactly. I think if we did the grid after hours, it might
The
be our
nudie, the
biggest hit
nudie
yet. I couldn't
OnlyFans show that we were planning on.
I don't think I could be on it. Unfortunately, I don't think my voice lends itself to the grit after hours. But you could, I just think, play clips. I think you could play like Tom Curran talking. Just videos, right? You don't have to actually record them. Who have you recorded in the Surf Splendors that have the after hours voice? Devin Howers has an after hours voice.
Absolutely. Devin's got the best voice for radio out of anybody.
Yeah, so we got Devin.
And the cadence of speech. But that's the
Yeah.
problem. Devin might put you to sleep.
Yeah, but it's you kind of want to go to if you are knitting and the kids are asleep and you accidentally fall asleep on the couch, you're not mad about it. You wake
That's a
up,
good point.
you put your knitting stuff away and you go to bed.
I'm
You're
curious
happy.
what dreams would come if Devin Howard's voice is speaking while you are sleeping.
Imagine the blissful peace of a mid-length cruise. Rincon Point. Empty. Just going up. You're not whacking the lip. You're touching the lip. Then you're down. You're not cranking the bottom turn. You're smooth. Your arms sexy. Devin Howard dreams. Do you remember Hot Summer Nights?
What's Hot Summer? Was that a movie?
No. Did you not watch Hot Summer Nights?
No, I don't
As a
think so.
kid in Coos Bay, Oregon, where surf videos were non-existent and surf content was rare. ESPN, and I do believe who was it who did Hot Summer Nights? It's who's the guy who's epic? legend, owns a bunch of the surf movie archive down in Solana Beach. You know who I'm talking
Oh,
about.
Ira Opper.
Ira Opper, I think, was involved with Hot Summer Nights. It was ESPN would do on the weekends in the summer, Hot Summer Nights. And it was like sometimes it was beach volleyball, sometimes it was boogie boarding, sometimes it was surfing. And I would just could not believe my luck when it was surfing. But it was real sexy. It was like a
Oh,
girl in an OP bathing suit coming up, Hot Summer Nights. And then it was like, like jazzy Tom Curran surfing.
no, I somehow missed that era or didn't have
Yeah.
ESPN.
Dear listener, chime in with your hot summer nights memories. I guarantee listeners have hot summer nights memories.
Ira Opper probably still has
I
that
think he does on the
archived.
archives. I do believe he might.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to put on Devin Howard's voice when I go to sleep tonight and do an experiment and see what dreams may come.
See what dreams come.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, another follow up. I don't know when, maybe a week or two ago, we must have been talking about skipping stones.
Oh yeah,
And we somehow landed on like, man, they should have competitions for skipping stones because that is
sure
such
should.
a lethal thing.
And for
Turns
sure
out they
they do.
do.
Of
I got
course
a
they do.
email from a listener, sent me a documentary. The documentary, I watched it. It's good. It's on YouTube. It's about an hour long. It is called Skips Stones for Fudge, is the title of the documentary. And it is all about the competitive stone skipping, the world champs that exist, all that stuff.
Love it. How many skips, or how do they gauge via skip, via distance, via slide at the end? Like what is the actual criteria?
Number of skips.
But except for when you get skips, right? It hits the slide at the end. How do you count those?
They got a kind of an aerial kind of video, and you can count the rings. Like at a certain point at the end of the skip, I guess, you can click pause and freeze frame it and count the actual rings where it touched
Okay.
down.
And question, one more. Do they provide them with the stone, or do they throw them on a lake bed or whatever, or at a lake or whatever, and they gotta find their own skipping stones? Or are they sponsored and have Channel Islands skipping stones?
They are all natural occurring stones. You're not allowed to modify the stone at all. You can't shave it down in your machine shop or anything like that. And then stone collection is a huge part of these people's success. So these people dedicate extensive number of hours to collecting stones, and they do an initial process. You collect a certain amount of stones at the beach, and then you go home and you sort through, then you sort again, and those are the ones that travel with you to Mackinac Island to compete for fudge.
If you uh could have one shaper, I feel that shapers, not that they're gonna alter the stone, but would know a skipping stone when they saw it. If you could pick one shaper to be your caddy, to go find you your stones, who would it be?
Skip Fry.
Oh, hammer drop right there.
Can
Skip
you beat
by.
Skip Fry? I mean, among the most legendary shapers and a name built for skipping stones.
I feel I would pick. I feel that Britt Merrick with his hunting up there in the woods, waiting for stuff, a lot of time. I feel Britt Merrick has an eye for a good skipping stone.
Look, if you're bringing a roadie with you, he's a great roadie because he's big. He can carry a lot of stones. He can carry more stones than Skip Fry can, but I don't need many stones to win this competition.
Guess what else he can carry that's going to really send me all the way to the moon?
What?
Merrick Lager. I feel
Exactly.
if you're not skipping a stone with a Merrick Lager in hand, you're not. Are you even skipping a stone?
It's funny. Britt texted me yesterday, and he goes, "Hey, can you get me this guy's information? Because I'm not on Instagram." He goes, I found this note on my car at Lowers today. And it was a handwritten note from Mike at Weekend Vans, who just
Yes.
he left a handwritten note that just said, um, Weekend Vans times Merrick Lager. hit me up or let's make it happen. And then he just left his Instagram handle. He didn't leave any other contact information other than Instagram handle. So Britt sent me a photo of it, said, I don't have Instagram, so I have no way to contact this guy. Can you send me his information? But how funny is that?
That is absolutely epic.
I know.
That is worlds colliding.
I know. And I love it. I love that the surf world is so small that all you have to do is go surfing somewhere and somebody there sees you and connects the dots, you know?
Yep.
Um, I was thinking about drinking a Merrick Lager actually this afternoon because I was craving. We've talked about Korean chicken before, Korean fried chicken.
Oh
There's this
yeah. The
Korean fried
best.
chicken place nearby that does insane wings. I'm like, man, I really want chicken wings right now. And you know what goes good with chicken wings is beer. And I have Merrick Lager in the fridge.
Do you have Merrick Lager in the fridge?
That 6-pack they gave us when we were there, I have not consumed any of it yet.
What?
I don't drink beer, dude.
What kind of weirdo are you? I
I
think I
don't
drank that thing in a
on the
sitting and a half.
on the drive down.
I think so.
No, I don't. I rarely drink beer unless the occasion calls for it, and chicken wings call for it.
So real quick here,
Yeah.
not to take too much time. Your wine palate, you got a cocktail palate. You have not even, I feel beer is essential for certain dining occasions.
There's always an alternative beverage as well. Like throw out what is ideal. What's an ideal dining occasion? I'll give you an alternative.
Hot dog.
Correct. The beer is the only. Because if you said tacos, I could have gone margarita. If you say pizza, I can red wine goes great with pizza or hamburgers. But you're right, hot dog, you got to drink a beer with a hot dog. So you win.
And there's also sometimes, I'll give you another dining option. Nothing.
Cocktail.
I get you. Except now you're setting yourself off on Booze Town accidentally. You don't start drinking cocktails with nothing and end well, right? Or end appropriately. Uh but you can think, okay, I'll give you another option. Not a food, a time. 11 a.m.
Champagne.
It's not a Sunday or a Saturday.
If budget allows, champagne at 11 a.m. any day of the week.
Every
But
day. Oh, okay, but like let's say Austin is uh first day of school. Wife is gone. It's 11 a.m. You're like thinking, okay, I got some work to do, but I got a minute here. You look at the clock, it's 11 a.m. Gonna make yourself a cocktail? Nope. You're gonna pour yourself a glass of wine? Nope. You could crack a beer, Merrick Lager, and then keep working.
look, it sounds good to me. I drank plenty of beer throughout my life, but it makes me feel bloated. The reason I cut it out is strictly because of the way that it makes me feel. So that's where champagne fits the bill for me is I don't feel bad afterwards.
I hear you, and I appreciate it. You know me, I'm not an everyman, David Lee Scales, even though I am the people. But I feel the bloat and fatness and whatever of beer is miscast. I feel if you mentally think beer is like water with booze, then you're fine.
Well, there's another great documentary out there that is about beer saving the world, actually, because it was at a time where water was unsafe to drink, but once you go make it into beer, it somehow gets rid of all the bacteria, and that is what people survived on.
Ain't no beer guy, but I love it.
There you go. All right. Well, hey, barrel or nah, coming in from a listener today.
Hi there, this is Ren Volpe here from Oceanside again. Do you have a question / comment regarding Shark Stories incident? And one thing that I find curious that I don't see a lot of publicity or a lot of surfers suggesting other surfers to wear shark bands. I recently got one. Obviously, it's impossible to know its efficacy, but it does keep me a little more calm in the water when I'm surfing by myself or Dawn Patrol. the thing that made me buy it was Bethany Hamilton endorsing it, right? But basically, what are your guys' opinions on it? Do you think it should be suggested? Do you think it's kooky? Do you think it's a worth effort? It's only $99, and maybe it's not only, but if you think about the peace of mind and what it could actually do for you, it's less than a pair of fins. So worth a discussion, at least, about this somewhat unique product. All right. Cheers. Keep the work.
So Barrel and All shark bands. This is the bracelet that you wear, or anklet, I guess, that you would wear, that sends out an electromagnetic field that affects the shark's sensory organs, and it encourages them. It's a deterrent. It's a deterrent field that keeps sharks away, in theory.
Why not is what I say. Barrel David Lee scales.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, why stinking not, right? Like, there was the kid in Florida who was wearing a shark bands, got it for his Christmas present, I recall, a couple years ago, 5 years ago. Did a Beach Grit story on it.com. And he was bitten by a shark. And I feel that was an outlier. And I'm going to say, if you have shark nervousness, if you like are, why not? For 99 bucks for peace of mind, have at it, is what I say.
See, I thought this was going to land in your classic or classification of it's just another knick-knacky thing that I have to remember to do. Like, this complicates things, therefore, no.
I mean, I think you should, to be honest, if you're going to get a shark bands, the bracelet one in particular, you should not just wear it. You should wear it all the time, right? You should wear it at the grocery store. You should wear it at the, like, it should be like the shark watch of old. Your shark bands should be a signifier that I surf. Uh, Go off and wear it all the time. Why not? And then, I mean, does it have a battery or
No,
something?
that's so I looked it up, of course, in preparation for today's show because I'd seen them advertised everywhere. I saw the Bethany Hamilton partnership recently, but I never took it seriously. I didn't think that the science was like actually legit, maybe. I don't know what I thought. But I finally looked into it, and it seems like the science is actually pretty much in, and that sharks do use electromagnetic, like that's a known thing. And so this thing sending out a pulse does deter them. But to answer your question, it's always on. There is no battery, so I'm not exactly sure how it operates or how it sends that electromagnetic thing,
There's no
but
like charging or anything.
there's no charging. It's just always
So
on.
I'm double barrel now. And dear shark bands, if you're listening, send me one. I will wear this thing as a fashion accessory because who knows what other great things could happen in on land when you're wearing your shark bands, right? Like,
Well, there you see people putting rocks and crystals by their beds.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if this is good enough to keep a shark away from me, then it's also good enough to get me a free drink at the bar. Or like, I would like to experiment with shark bands out of the water, to be honest. I'm all in.
I like it too. I mean, I like the way that you're going, the path that you're going on, because I've never believed in crystals for
Sure.
healing or any of that sort of stuff. However, um, that there is so in wine, in farming, in agriculture, there is biodynamics, is
Yes.
a farming practice, right? And this goes way back before organics, even. This is like Rudolf Steiner was this, I think it's like 1860s or something. He had this whole philosophy, and it's about tapping into the universe and the Earth's rotation around the sun and the moon. Obviously, the moon affects the tides. That is a known fact. And since plants are primarily made up of water, it stands to reason that the plants would also be affected by the moon's orbit, and so are humans. And so it's kind of an entire agricultural system that incorporates those things. It incorporates organics too and doesn't have pesticides, all that sort of stuff. But with all of that in mind, it does make me open to the idea that things like this might actually have meaning and affect our behavior. In the way that it affects our behavior, I have no idea. Like saying that
Sure.
this thing is but I'm like being open to the idea that there is an energy that's being transferred and taken place, that maybe wearing this shark band can deter sharks, and also encourage the next positive
Bartender
financial gain.
to give you a free drink. Yeah, I mean, I am 100% in, especially in the water. Like, have at it. Especially if you, the person who buys the shark bands, I feel for surfing. Have you ever thought about when you, again, you and I live in Southern California. We are not surfing New Smyrna Beach. Have we talked about the way they pronounce Smyrna?
No,
So weird. But in any case, we're not surfing sharky, attacky waters, right? We're not at Reunion Island,
I've
you and
never,
I.
I rarely have ever even worried about a shark.
I mean, I surfed in Coos Bay, Oregon, and sometimes I would see, I swore once I saw a big dark shadow underneath, and I might have. I was surfing right next to a jetty with, it was weird, and saw a big dark shadow and got in as quick as I could. But never like in Somalia, there was a bunch of shark heads on the beach. Never thought about them ever. But if you think about sharks, buy a shark bands because why not? But again, I want shark bands on the land. Shark bands should do. Remember Beverly Hills 90210 when they had the
Yeah.
Peach Pit and then the Peach Pit after dark? I want the shark bands and the shark bands on land. Give me just let's see what it does on land.
So when I was researching, when I went to their website, the selling point that I was actually sold on was the fact that it has the same deterrent effect for stingrays.
Oh man, I'll
Because
strap. I'm scared of stingrays.
yes, I've been stung by stingrays. It hurts. I see stingrays regularly, especially
How
now
many
during
how
the
many times have you
summertime.
been zapped by a ray?
Twice.
Oh,
It
I've
it's painful.
knocking on wood. Haven't gotten it yet.
It's
Carried a
very
girl.
painful.
This is like a traumatic early memory for a young daughter of we were at Moonlight Beach and just walking on the beach and some woman, or I guess she was probably a teenager or something, like 20, I don't know how old she was just like in the shore break, just like yelping. And I ran down and so I like put her on my back and carried her to the lifeguard station, and she just had a big old hole in her foot. I mean, it wasn't a hole, but like the clear zap in there, and she was in so much agonizing pain. And young daughter was walking behind me, just like eyes wide open, scared for life. I'm gonna
Yeah,
put one around her
it's
neck, a shark band.
yeah, it's not the I mean, it's probably partially the laceration that hurts, but it's the poison specifically that
Yeah.
hurts. So there's a poison in there that just feels like fire, and you can feel it moving up your leg, like the poison
Did you
traveling through your blood system. And that's what the hot water neutralizes. It neutralizes the protein in the poison, so the pain goes away. But if you take your appendage out of the hot water, the pain comes back. So you want to kind of keep it in there for long enough to fully neutralize it, which is, 30 plus minutes basically.
are, are you sure you're not supposed to just pee on it for 30 minutes?
So if you had a stream that lasts 30 minutes, which late at night often I do, then yes, that would actually work. But you need a bucket of water is much more effective. The stream would only neutralize it temporarily, but even then it's like not enough pee. Like you'd be peeing on the hole, peeing on the hole of the laceration. And I don't think that that's really the poison has traveled beyond that. So I don't think you have enough pee.
So it's only the heat you're saying from the pee. It's not, I was always under the impression that it was like the uh ammonia or something from the pee.
No, it's the temperature.
Wow. Yeah.
So
When I carried that poor girl up to the lifeguard station, lifeguards like, oh yeah. And all they did was got a big old bucket and started filling it with hot water.
yeah, exactly. It's commonplace in the summertime here in Southern California. I took the dog in Austin to the beach like 2 weeks ago, and the dog loves to go in the water. And so throwing the ball. And so I'm standing in kind of ankle deep water. And just within ankle deep water, I look out 6 feet ahead to my left, boom, stingray right there in the shallows. Then I look to my right, there's another one. Then I looked to my right more, and there was another one, all within kind of like a 10-foot radius of where I was standing in ankle deep water. I saw three. So I was like, okay, moving on. Austin's got to get out of the water. And also, I'm afraid to put my dog in the water at this point because if a dog got tagged, who knows? You know,
So
that could be.
if shark bands rebranded as Ray Bans,
They probably
would get
looked
sued,
into that,
but also
and got a message from the WSL and the Olympics saying no go. So, but okay,
And
this was not an ad for shark bands, but yeah, I'm kind of
in.
in at this point too. Okay, another barrel or not, another listener. Here we go.
David Chaz, for the grit, might be a barrel or not, but I'm just coming off a great surf in North County. Good swell right now, but I had a question for you guys. I'm walking up the steps, and you see all these guys either in the shower, waiting in line to take a shower, or they have some special shower, portable shower by their car. I don't rinse off at all. I wear it throughout the day, and it feels great. You know, skin feels good. Kind of wipe the little dried salt off your face every now and then. But I guess barrel or not, rinsing off after the surf. I think it's ridiculous to wait in line for the shower. That's crazy. All right, thanks.
Lead us off.
Not only is it ridiculous in line to wait for the shower, it is absolutely, unless you are surfing in a sewer, unless you are surfing in a known toxic environment where it is like sewer spill, gonna get my waves, gotta do it. Salt water replaces shower all day, every day. If you could jump in the ocean, you would never need to take a shower again. And here on Maui, I pedal my daughter to the ballet in the morning. I swing by the harbor and jump right in. And that is my morning. I don't even know. It is exactly saline enough. More salty, the better, of course, as this goes. But my goodness, shower, rinse folk, knock it off. Like, unless you have pH problems or weird stuff going on, not only does the salt water like seal you for the day, I feel it makes your hair, it makes everything better. I have no idea why. Especially, it's not like you're rinsing in a spring water. Even if that you were doing that, I don't agree with it. But you're taking the beautiful ocean saline water and you're just putting chlorine on yourself. And then, oh, cool, here I go. It's idiotic. Everyone should stop doing it. Best case scenario ever is a salt seal.
Totally agree. Saltwater is the solution, is a solution, literally,
To almost everything.
to almost everything. And I'm going to go a step further. While I agree with all that, the main reason I would never go use that shower or certainly not wait in line for that public shower is in the off chance or the likely chance that it'll lead to a social interaction.
100%.
I'd hate to be standing there and then some random dude starts talking to me.
Well, you're
That's
waiting for the
worst case
shower.
scenario. Yeah,
Waiting for a
exactly.
shower. Hey, I'm
I would have
showering, man.
I would avoid that at all costs. So you couldn't pay me to go stand in that shower because somebody might chat you up.
I mean, and again, dear listener, if you didn't know this before, if this is the first time you're hearing it, that the salt seal is the greatest thing that will happen in your day, hear it now and take heed.
Yeah. It is one of the gifts of surfing. And the fact that you're washing it off makes me feel like you just got done with that surf school out at Main Peak.
Exactly. Jacksonville.
Okay. Well, final barrel or nah, donating in this perilous, uncertain time here in the US, final barrel or nah is donating to a political campaign.
Heck no barrel. Zero barrel. They got enough money. Whatever they're doing is like,
I know.
like, I will say donate to a cause. Donate to a homeless guy down the street. Donate to the Surfrider Foundation. Donate to Parks for All. Donate to anyone. Donate to your brother. Take that money you're going to send to a candidate and send it to something you actually care about. Those stinking corpo candidates have on all sides have enough.
I know. I'm like, I understand the Koch brothers or Meta as a company or whatever, where
Yeah,
it's
they're
a
buying
right.
influence.
Yeah, you're buying influence and you're writing it off, right? You're going to
Yeah.
give it to the government otherwise. So I understand that. But when I get on YouTube and it's Kamala Harris asking me to donate to her campaign, I'm
No.
like, you guys, first of all, I only want to donate to things that I actually see a change in. Like I know my money is going towards actually making a change. This is only going to you guys and this is going to some sort of thing that it's going to disappear into. It's never going to make the change that you are saying that you are going to use this money for. It is going to go into marketing expense. It's going to go into buying advertisements or signs or something like that. And by the way, you guys have vastly superior resources to little old me. Like, it's insane. It's throwing money completely away. And maybe even worse, it's throwing money into evil.
I mean,
Like,
imagine too
disaster.
if like whatever, we can take umbrage with the Supreme Court of the United States for many things, but I will take umbrage with them here for the whatever the campaign finance thing was, where they were like, nope, unlimited money. Like, go through, like, these candidates get whatever you want, whatever they want, at whatever amount they want, right? Now everything is screwed. Like, so it doesn't, like, your grassroots, like, $20 thrown in there, not only does it not make a drop in the bucket, uh that 20 bucks could be like stinking legit homeless dude down the street. 20 bucks to him, sure, he might buy a, what, a 12 pack, but 6 pack. What do you buy? What does a $20 get you in the States anymore for a pack?
Who
Can,
knows? I don't
can
know.
you get an
I don't
18 pack?
I don't drink beer.
Merrick Lager is going to go on sale for the homeless. But yeah, like, my goodness. Yeah, absolutely not. No
I
barrel.
know. Don't do it. Yeah, absolutely don't do it. By the way, now listeners are going to chime in and be like, you know what, do a barrel or not about don't giving money to homeless people. We've already done that one. We both barreled giving money to homeless people, but giving
Definitely.
money to political campaign. The other thing that I was thinking is, you know, um, funds are always misappropriated. Like in government, you hear stories every week of the school superintendent or whatever it is. I bet you in the political arena, there's more misappropriation of funds than anywhere else in the world. And
I mean,
so you're giving your money to somebody who's ultimately going to steal it, probably.
it's an industry in and of itself, right? And so there, and no, nothing against those who work in the political field, and good on you. You're making your money. We're all trying to do our best here. But like, giving to that industry feels insane to me.
It really
If you
does.
if you think you're doing if you think you're doing it for a good reason.
Yeah, I know. I've never felt more uh, offended by somebody asking for a donation than I have these last couple of weeks.
Oh my
So
goodness. I
stay
did
away
it.
from it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, next week, same time zone difference, or what should we plan on?
Same time zone. I'm hopefully going to be doing it in front of Brazil's team house in Paris. I'm going to try to post up there, and we'll see if the brave Brazilian warrior is going to come knock my teeth in.
Okay, sweet. Cannot wait. I hope you get your Instagram pack in the interim. Until
But
then,
if it doesn't, guess where you can follow me now, David Lee Scales?
X.
Exactly. I've had an X from when I was doing Jamie O'Brien's account.
There you
Come
go.
on, follow me at trashpros.com or X or whatever, at trashpros.
Get your OnlyFans up and running too, so people
Yeah.
could follow and support you there. Donate money there.
Billy Kemper.
Yep. All right. Sweet. Well, until next week.
Keep work.